Dear Diary, day 12. So, I grew up in Edenville, which is a very weird place. Let me tell you, it was like an episode of the Stepford Wives. It kind of, all this stuff was going on in the country and it sort of just never penetrated. There were just these totally odd people going about their business, thinking they lived in a sort of a suburb of an American, I don't know, town in Texas. I don't know. Or, probably more likely they thought if you lived a really great life that when you died, you went to America. Anyway, thank God. So, you think you're the problem because everybody else is getting into this stuff. And then thank God for mostly the Rolling Stones and Bob Marley. I got messages from the outside world saying, don't worry, it won't always be like this. Anyway, we live next door to this guy, Afrikaans guy. I don't remember his name. I'll call him Jan. He was a nasty piece of work. Every time we knocked our balls over the wall, he would take them into his garage and he would saw them in half and throw them back. It's like, I think my parents were scared of him, so they wouldn't ever say anything. So we just ended up with, balls cut in half. And he was always arguing with his wife. He was like constantly arguing with his wife. And one day she left him. I mean, we used to, because we didn't have TV, so, sitting at dinner, everybody would stop talking and listening to Jan and his wife arguing. Anyway, she left him, and we knew that she left him because he didn't know how to cook. He could only braai. So every single night, and because you didn't have walls in those days, you had these fences, you could see what was going on. And he'd be out there braaiing. And I'm telling you now, in the high-felt storm, like those kind of storms, there was Jan with his umbrella braaiing. And, the smoke would get caught in the umbrella. I mean, it must have been hell in there, but Jan was braaiing. That's because that's what he did. He didn't know how to do anything else. Anyway, and one day, because we got our information from the radio one day, on the radio, we heard that the Lion Match Factory was on fire. It was a very exciting thing. In fact, the people across the road all piled into their car and drove off. Hey, where are you going? Now we're going to go and see the factory burning. So I was like, Dad, can we go and see the factory burning? And he said, oh, why would we do that? Anyway, he had a point. And then the next minute, we were sort of, I don't know what we were doing, but this mushroom cloud, like a little miniature nuclear bomb, like a little mushroom cloud appeared, and a little while after, the sonic boom of bah, the match factory exploded. And about half an hour later, because it had blown the matchboxes so far into the atmosphere that it took them half an hour to come back down. It started raining matchboxes. It was like rain, like proper rain. And everybody went mad. People came out of their houses and started dancing in these falling matchboxes. Crazy. They were very tightly wound in Edenville, so I think this was an opportunity for them to let shit go. Anyway, the tragic part was that Jan worked at that matchbox factory, and he was one of the however many people that were blown up in that fire. And his wife moved back into the house with her new, I don't know if it was a husband or boyfriend. And the good thing about him is when we hit our balls over the wall, over the fence, he always just threw them back.